Oh my God, my people, we are back on the defensive settings videos. I've been putting these settings through the ringer, testing them in all kinds of different situations with different systems and teams and players, and so much fun. We're going to start with this first episode on the off-ball screen settings. Hey, and that's because this year especially, your defense is just so easily exploitable if you don't have these set right. Especially by certain things, you'll see what I mean. Right, it's just brutal. Okay, here we go. Here we are. We got first the main off-ball screen setting, right? Oh, you know what? Since this is the first episode of these for 2K23, I'll go ahead and do the reminder right now. Alright, I probably should. So if we come to the coach settings here at the top, we got the ACE, right? The Adaptive Coaching Engine. Most of us are familiar with this. So I test this every year, just to make sure, and basically every year I find the same thing. So once again, as a reminder, we're going to want this for offense only. We don't want this thing anywhere near our defense because it interferes with our custom defensive settings. So it kind of defeat the purpose if we put ACE on for defense. So ACE on offense only, and that's basically the same reason that we're almost never going to leave anything on auto. Just so you know, same concept, because, you know, we don't trust the game with these matters, and it's for good reason. Okay, if we want it done right, we gotta do it ourselves. Let's actually deal with the switch option first. Okay, and of course, when it comes to switching, it depends heavily on your lineup. Now, we know that. I just test it to make sure that, you know, the game can, you know, execute it well and consistently. Now, sometimes I wish they would do it a little faster and act like they know what they're doing ahead of time. Sometimes they're a little slow with it, but still, overall, I would say the answer to that question in 2K23 is yes, they can. Okay, so given that, if you got 5 guys on the floor where you feel fine about them guarding anybody, then this would be a very viable option. You could definitely mix it into your system, but all the switching stuff you hear in the switchable lineup, switchable defenders, it doesn't translate exactly into the game like maybe it should. Not totally realistic. You definitely pay more for mismatches in the game, in my opinion. So being able to just put switch all on here, that's pretty rare, right? And plus, there is another setting we're going to get into later that deals with switching. I'll just leave that there for now, but we're going to come back to this. But most of the time, we're not going to be switching with the vast majority of lineups. So let's deal with the main options for off-ball screen coverage, which is go over or go under. Alright, so let's take a look at the tape. Okay, so this right here is exactly what I was talking about. This perfectly illustrates my point. It's these damn loop screens and other similar actions with similar screens. It's so many CPU teams run this kind of thing, and other players when you're playing online too. I see it all the time. You just get killed on these kinds of actions if you have your guys going over on the off-ball screens. Okay, and you can see what I mean. It's more about the position that it puts the defender in, right? The path that it forces them to travel. To follow their man. It's a dumb one. Like, right here. Just go under right there. Cut him off. And where's my other clip? Oh, here we go. This is perfect right here. So, right here, the screen doesn't even work. Right? It doesn't even connect on the screen. And he's still out of position. He's still chasing from behind. He didn't even get screened. So yeah, man, you'll see about all the other kinds of screens, other kinds of actions, but obviously if we put it on under, that's going to be the solution for those types of actions, for the loop cuts and similar actions. Look at him taking the smarter path right there, cutting him off, right? How much better is that instead of chasing him from behind? All right, so score 1 for go under, but it's really so much more than that. So every year, you can believe it or not, I actually track what setting has a higher, what I call bypass rate. That's the term that I came up with for it. It's basically, you know, which setting allows your guys to bypass the most screens. I actually track that all year. I really do that. Probably the least surprising thing ever, but anyway, I've never gotten a bigger discrepancy between the two settings. Okay, and you're seeing some of it here. Go under has a way higher bypass rate this year in 2K23, like way higher. Okay, so you get more of your guys like circumventing the screen with go under, and that helps us with all the other different types of off-ball screens. So that's good, but you might be asking yourself, well, okay, what about like shooters, right? Great shooters catching and shooting off of off-ball screens. Surely we'd want to go over then, right? Well, maybe in real life, I would probably give you that, but not in the game. It's not the same, man. Look how far behind he gets. Look at that. It's the same problem. He's so out of position. They just do a better overall job in the game with whatever kind of off-ball screen when they're going under. Like here, flare screen, right? We bypassed it. Like I said earlier, we're good. Okay, here he gets hit with the flare screen. He doesn't bypass it. And he's still there to contest. And he's staying in good position the whole time between man and basket, protecting against the cut. And here, two different types of screens. On one play, back screen, we're good. Pin down, we're good. And then the back screen, look at him take away that cut when he's going under. That is beautiful. If that's on go over, that's a layup. Okay, so come back to the settings. Clearly the answer is go under, right? And then on next gen, we got all the like specific settings for different types of off-ball screens. For the same reasons, I'm going under on all of them. Let's get back to the switching for a sec. I said there was one more setting. It's the switch rules for off-ball screens right here. So obviously, if you're switching everything, you just put this one on switch all as well. But most of the time when we're not switching, we still don't want to leave this on auto. We want to put it on either switch guards or switch bigs. Now, of course, just like everything with switching, it depends on your lineup like we talked about, but I find that 85-90% of the time, switch bigs is the one that leaves you the least vulnerable. Like, usually I'm fine with my 4 guarding their 5 or my 5 guarding their 4. It's not a big deal. The only exception to that would be is if I was going small and I had like a 6'5" guy at the 4, and like they had like a beastly center like Embiid or somebody like that, then okay, I might not want him to get stuck on Embiid. So in that case, I would put on switch guards, but that's really the only scenario where I do that. Yeah, man, so keep an eye on the lineups, but most of the time switch bigs in my opinion. All right, guys, there we go. I hope that wasn't too much. I know, I get really detailed. I know, I get it. I don't try to. I just get really into it. I can't help it. But yeah, man, let me know if something didn't make sense. You need more of an explanation. You have a question. You can always hit me in the comments. Keep them coming, guys. I love to hear from you guys, and I read everything. I try to respond to as many as possible. It's a big part of this channel, us all coming together and figuring out this crap together. But yeah, man, I want to thank you for watching. Pop that like button if you enjoyed this video, if you found it to be useful for you. We got big time slider adjustments, slider updates, slider improvements coming next. There's one slider that we were having a paradigm shift on, and it's been like a godsend, and it's kind of made everything else work better. We'll get into that in the next video. It doesn't make sense, but I'm going to make the most sense I can out of it. Sometimes that's all you can do with 2K, so I'm finally like having fun with it. You know, for a while I wasn't having fun with the game, to be honest. I was just in a dark place. But I've finally broken through, and you'll get all the details on that coming up next. Stay tuned for that, man. Subscribe, of course, if you haven't yet. Hit your notifications on so you're notified. And yeah, man, I hope to see you here next time on the next edition of 2K with the Popboy.